Welcome to PLZ Soccer's Football Podcast. I'm Peter Martin, delighted to have your company. Alan Rough, James McFadden and Tam Cowan are here with me. Great to have one of your all-time heroes on the show, eh?
Well, as in, I could start greeting myself, as James was on Saturday night when I inducted him. I had the pleasure of, no me, the club inducted him into the Hall of Fame. I was merely presenting the evening. And, if we could get another couple of tears here for James, this podcast could get a BAFTA.
Oh.
So you're going to do it. Tell us what. No, it was a magical moment. I'll tell you what, Ali Maxwell had been up for the second award after George Stevenson, one of the great forefathers of Motherwell Football Club. His family had come down from 3 generations, his family down from the Black Isle up by Inverness. It was magical moments like that. Ali Maxwell came up. Ali had already put up 2 seats for 2 deserving fans at the dinner, because those are the seats that his dad, who he lost this year, and his pal would have been sitting in. The minute Ali started saying that to the audience, he was all welling up, and I'm thinking, wow, is it going to be one of their nights? Then we get Willie Pettigrew had been up as well, and I think it was just the fans that were greeting when they saw him. And then up comes the bold Faddy, cocky Faddy, the cheeky boy. We even played that song as he came up by the cheeky girls. And I thought, well, I'll not get any tears for this one. And then just as he said how proud he was to receive it, I could see it happening. He looked down and he mentioned his wee boy. And I think that's what started the waterworks, wasn't it?
It was. I think that I don't normally get emotional. He actually says to me after it, he says to me a few weeks ago, I've never seen you crying. And it's not because I'm hard. It's just I don't get emotional, and it was I didn't think I'd get emotional. I was obviously very, very proud. But my wee boy, he's got a season ticket, he goes every week, and as Tam says, before he gave me the award, or maybe just after it, I only got it for my first spell at Motherwell, because the other 2 were rubbish. And,
let's not kid ourselves.
Basically, it was because obviously I got a bad injury. I think it was 27. My wee boy he'd been to games, but he didn't know what it was all about. And he used to come watch me when I come back, but I was never the same player. So it was just for him to see me and to get the recognition of the club that he supports and he loves. Obviously Motherwell done a lot for me, and I'm forever grateful for that. And I just went, and it was strange.
A lovely moment, though.
Yeah.
A lovely moment. And what the fans loved as well, and they get a bit choked up about it, because what the fans didn't know, and I'm not trying to make James blush now or indeed cry, that when he got his big move, of course, Motherwell get the best part of 2 million. But would they get less than that if he hadn't given up his own wee cut and he gave it to the club as a thank you for what the club had done for you and kicked you off your career?
Aye, when I come
he
through,
did text me that 10 minutes ago. Did I get it right?
No, the only thing I was thinking about Roughie was, what an idiot, eh? Roughie's looking at you as if you're a space cadet.
When I came through at Motherwell, I was happy that first of all I got somebody to give me a full-time contract to give me the chance to pursue my dream, and then when I played, I just seemed to get better and better playing for Motherwell. Obviously I left and went to Everton. It was a life-changing move for me, moving to the Premier League, and I knew the club were probably out of administration by that point, but I knew that times were hard for the club, and I was going to go and get a big move in my playing a league that I never thought I'd ever be able to play in, and I just felt it was the right thing to do. But
it has been too bashful. It was that transfer that effectively rubber stamped Motherwell Football Club coming out of administration.
Yeah, well, I mean, strangely enough, there's a couple of things, Roughie, that want to get your thoughts on here, and James doesn't know about this, but obviously, there are special moments that were inextricably linked. Commentary for Scotland against France is one, but we had the commentary at the time when I was at Radio Clyde, and we were regularly at Fir Park, and I think I commentated on a couple of absolute rakers that you scored. The other thing we have in common, James, which you pulled off better than me, I mentioned it to Tam last week, and he looked at me as if no chance, but when I was playing for the school team, at the time, what you're like, you're young, steady.
It's chess.
When I was playing for the school team, I had a ponytail, James. You just do daft things when you're in school, but you pulled it off. You had the ponytail, didn't you?
Well, I wouldn't say I pulled it off. I had it when I was young. I used to go and watch my dad. He played amateur, and one of the guys in the team scored a couple of crackers one game, and he had a ponytail. So I thought, that'll do me. I'll have a ponytail.
Yeah.
So I was about 7 I think it was about 7 or 8. And the whole time I got it, everybody, even like my mum and dad, are like, he'll get rid of it soon. And it just stuck. And the older I got, the more people telling me. I remember Billy Davis was my manager at the under-15s at Motherwell, and he'd be like, get that cut. And I used to say, no, it's my hair, I'll decide when I cut it.
Yeah.
And then it was the same. I went in full time. Listen, we'll give you a contract, but you need to get your hair cut. And I used to go, no, I'm not getting the cut. I hated it.
Yeah.
I hated it. But I hated people tell me what to do. Aye.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you know what? The thing is that unlike a lot of players that you could look at now, and I'm not blowing even more smoke up James's backside, but there are certain players that can bring off things like that. It can look the part with something like that, or a pair of loud boots, or the tattoos, or whatever, if they can play football. And James will go down in the history books of Motherwell, I reckon, has been one of the last guy who, when he got the ball at his feet, there was a wee ooh in the crowd.
Absolutely.
And they get the bums off the seats, and you thought something was going to happen. So players like that are entitled to do whatever they want with their hair, their boots.
And I could, great similarities, James, because I had that ponytail roughie, and a couple of girls at the school 5th year said to us, "You look stupid with that, get it off," and I took it off immediately, roughie. Because I thought, there's no way I'm being isolated in that school.
With Tam's right, there is only good players can get away with it, that's why I got the perm.
Aye.
So
who was the first out of all in 70? Who was the first to get
I
it?
think it was Kevin Keegan. No, Kevin Keegan started it.
But in Scotland, that's a
it was
bold
me.
move.
It was me, Danny, and Derek Johnson. Went to Taylor Ferguson's and got it done.
Here's a better one, which Roughie, James mentioned he was crying there, he was emotional. Is there any time you cried in football?
Oh, I think it's any time your kids are involved. When we won, I think we were runners up in a cup with Hibs, and he was outside, and the same age. He didn't just went to the game, wasn't he? Didn't know what was happening afterwards. I gave him my medal, and that was quite emotional. Don't know what he's done with it right enough. But
you were saying about the tears, Roughie, when your kids are involved, because I remember you greeting recently when your daughter told you how much it was for that bathroom. You're inconsolable.
Absolutely. And we're talking about goals, James, and automatically, because we knew you were coming in, you automatically think about Scotland. We always talk about it non-stop, the goals. I was just thinking about great goals, and I had 5 in mind, Tam, great Scotland goals.
Okay, yep.
Right? And I just wonder where James ranks in it. I mean, Gemmel's one for me. James in Paris in 2007 is up there as well. I've excluded the Holland one because, as you know, it took a wee nick. Is that fair?
I think it's fair. I think even the Paris one, I think the goalist have saved it.
Yeah, it's a good point, actually. Landreau. The other ones I've picked out are, I don't know if you remember this, James, or if you've seen it on Google, but Kenny Dalglish scored a goal against Belgium over there, which was world class. Yep. The ball's coming in, and the inside, he's inside right, it's coming to him 20 yards out, and as it comes into his body, he goes to go left. Yep. He then swivels, turns the defender on his right foot, and he's now 18-yard box, and with his left peg bends it right into the roof of the net. And at the end of the game, they say to him, "That was some goal," and Kenny in his usual fashion says, "It doesn't matter, we lost." And that was him. That was his attitude to it. It was incredible.
I think that's not a surprise, because alright, everybody wants to speak about when I scored against France, and that is great, and it was a brilliant night, and the whole campaign was great until the end, but we didn't qualify. So it's great, and it means a lot to me personally, because when you get to play for your country, it's brilliant. You score a goal, even better, and when it's in that moment, it's amazing. But at the end of the day, we didn't qualify, and probably my lasting memory of that campaign, I think I told you the last time I was on here, was I had a great chance to score against Italy, and I just hesitated a wee bit, and if I'd had a tap in, we'd have went 2-1 up, and I'm sure we would have done enough to see the game out and qualify. Yeah,
no, it's a good point, actually. And the funny thing is, I remember Roughie and I were in the Parc des Princes at the time, and I remember it was relentless. You were on the back foot non-stop, and just at the just approaching half time, you had a nutmeg on a French player at the halfway line, and I was commentating on it as if you'd hit a screamer from about 40 yards. I couldn't believe it. It was the only thing we had to celebrate, because they were just coming and battering us, Tam.
My lasting memory, the famous goal was that we went on the radio that Saturday, and some years after Archie Gemmell's goal, which I'd always said was a classic Scottish football JFK moment. If you're old enough to remember it, you'll remember exactly where you were. We did the same with James. Where were you when that ball hit the back of the net? And the really, really weird thing was, and it probably tells you how big a result that was, maybe the fans weren't expecting a result that night, but there was so many Tartan Army guys getting in contact with the show who'd been in the stadium that night but missed the goal. And what was happening was they had their back to the field because they were getting photos taken. Here I am in the Parc des Princes, Scotland playing France now, and they weren't expecting they were going to miss anything. Yeah. And loads of them says, I actually missed it. I was getting my photo taken at the time. Really, really strange. You know, it sums up how big a result it was. We weren't expecting to see anything like that.
And you know the funny thing is, James, because obviously, you know, occasionally we all meet up and we play five-a-sides on a Wednesday or a Friday morning. The only thing that was going through my head when you hit that ball was the type of thing when you're a schoolboy or you're playing with your mates and you score a brilliant goal at fives and you say, pick that one out, you know, if you score a great goal. And it was the only thing because do you remember the guy who was their manager?
Dominic.
Dominic. He was scathing about Scotland, and over and above that you had Thierry Henry who was scathing about Scotland. We'll see you in Paris. So it was that wee bit of defiance when you hit it, and I thought to myself, pick it out, Landrow.
I think because of the first game in the campaign when we beat France at home, and
that was as well.
That was as big a shock before obviously that came, because it was like, right, you know, when you're in a group, we had France, Italy, Ukraine, three teams, or three of the four semi-finalists of the last World Cup, I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah. And then so you're thinking, right, we need to pick up something at home, and you get that upset against France. I don't know how we won it. That was a smash and grab. That was probably more a smash and grab than the Parc des Princes. I think the Parc des Princes, everybody played their best, and that's when you play against the bigger nations, you need to hope they're off it, but you need to have everybody at your best, and I think we did. But that was a huge shock, because you hear it a lot. People say it's a free hit. In a way, it's a free hit because you're expected to get beat, but you still have to go and approach the game. It's not a free hit in terms of, well, we might win and get a bit lucky. You still need to, apply yourself and hope you get that bit of luck.
And Gary Cobble was raging because nobody remembers his goal.
But they were absolutely fuming after that game at Hampden. They were away talking about, wait till we get you here and wait to see this. And
I can remember Thierry Henry looking right down the camera and going, we'll see you in Paris. And I mean, we weren't even playing, and we were shiting ourselves, weren't we?
You were talking about James's goal when I was sitting about 4 in front of you.
Yeah.
And when he turned, I actually turned to somebody. He's not going to hit it for there, is he?
Oh, it was an absolute raker. The other two goals I've got is the best Scotland goals. You got to include Neri. Neri's a great goal. It's not. I mean, I actually, you more than anyone would be raging if a commentator says it's a toe poke.
I don't know, but because it's an English commentator, it wasn't a toe poke, but because the English commentator's saying it's a toe poke, then they're obviously not want to give you any credit. I think you'd quite enjoy it.
Yeah, I thought Dave Neri was a fantastic player. Great goal as well.
Absolute peach, and I always remember having the joy of being able to address Jimmy Hill about that goal, about that comment.
Did you?
On the telly when he joined us in the old Offside programme years ago, and he sat down. He got quite a good reception for the audience, a few boos and all that as you'd expect. And my first question to him, of course, a word you wouldn't dream of using nowadays, but the Tartan Army had it in their chant about Jimmy Hill as well. Yeah. But when Jimmy sat down, I says, Jimmy, how you doing? So tell us, are you up? That was that. But we'd already done our homework, and oh boy, the Tartan Army, how wrong were they about their insinuations about Jimmy Hill? Jimmy Hill, I think, had been married 5 times, and 3 of his brides had been at one point his secretary.
Is that right?
Yeah, so...
What about that for research? And I'll tell you another thing about Jimmy Hill, which you are indebted to him for, right, James, which you're not aware of.
No.
Right? Jimmy Hill was one of the absolute catalysts for footballers being paid what they were worth, because he actually fought for them to get a wage above the minimum wage, and based on what the club was prepared to pay them, and the gates and the goal scoring and all that. So he managed to get the players up to something like £100 a week, and and in the end, I hate to
But wait a
Give you
minute,
better
James
knowledge.
was only in 85 at Motherwell.
I know, but the guy he got it to, the reason why I know, the reason why I always look back on it is I lived in Edinburgh next to a guy called Johnny Haynes. Do you remember him, Roughie? Who played for England, and Johnny Haynes was the first £100 a week footballer because of all, you know, what Jimmy Hill had achieved.
Did
for
Johnny
him.
Haynes know Doof, one of the Beverley sisters as well?
He
was an early day kind of David Beckham. There was
he was,
another one,
he was.
Billy Wright.
Billy Wright from
Billy
Wolves.
Wright, definitely one of the Beverley sisters.
Yeah.
You'll remember him, Roughie.
Yes, aye.
But just out of curiosity, are we doing our top five? Are we doing our top five pumps? I can't quite. I don't remember that in the research.
Vera Lynn was smart enough. She was alright.
I think that was. I'm not even going to say who that was. Anyway, the last goal, Nary's was a good goal. Nary's was a good goal, and then the whole nation get full. You weren't born, James, but the whole nation was full of hope. And then Nary didn't realise that we'd a goalkeeper that just, you know, didn't realise that Brazilians could chip you from 30 yards or curl it round. And the last goal, I've got to mention it because there's a wee boy going to Hampden Park with about 120, 130,000 people there. Couldn't move. 1973, Joe Jordan, outside the boot, Willie Morgan. Joe Jordan scores 2-1. Classic Arthur Montford commentary, and we're on our way to the World Cup in 74. Roughie, that was a great goal.
It was a great night. You know, everything was attacking, trying to get the goal. Everybody knew what was going on. They were defending well, but it was a great into the box, and they just timed his run perfectly right into the top corner.
James, you mentioned there, any other goals that you guys? I'm not going to.
The man, for some reason, I think we were only talking about the man himself last week, and that's what sparked the memory. But the Charlie Nicholas one against Switzerland,
that's a great goal.
He kind of controlled it with his right knee and then volleyed it with the left peg right over the goal. That was an absolute peach. You need to have quality to score a goal like that.
Yeah, James, any that stick in your head?
And I'll tell you what I love while he's thinking. I'll tell you what I always loved about the Archie Gemmill one. As much as I told you the story even just last week about we were asking everybody where you were when Archie Gemmill scored that goal 25 years after it happened on the radio. It was the anniversary. And somebody phoned us in and says I was 10 yards for the greedy wee bastard screaming for a pass, and it was Asa Hartford. Right? So always
that'll be fair again 10 years.
What I always say to folk, if you watch that, particularly in a widescreen telly, you honestly, when Archie's just about to dink it out of the keeper, if you look right across, you do see Asa Hartford looking for a simple tap in to ruin the best goal ever. But you know what I love about Archie's goal as well? Watch this as well. When he goes in the kind of arc, the celebratory arc run after chipping it, where he almost pauses to start running back straight. If you look into the crowd, there's two, and I think they're just clearly Argentinian guys, and the applause for the guys, it's like that. Honestly, look for it the next time, and I get goosebumps every time I see it. I mean, here's two wee local guys. I'm 100% sure they were just local guys who had got tickets to go to that game, and they were watching a wee nation like Scotland who had been ridiculed worldwide up to the start of that game because of Peru, because of Iran, and it was as if they were supporting the underdog, and they saw this wee man, you'd never seen a man look like that in South America, Archie Gemmill, and he scored this majestic goal, and they were getting right behind us. It's a great wee moment.
Archie Gemmill was a great player, but you were going to mention something about that goal.
If you get a chance to see that again, actually when he cuts inside, he nutmegs Kenny Dalglish.
Aye.
Before he chips the goalie.
And not only Kenny Dalglish, who else did he nutmeg? Holland.
The Dutch player it was.
The Dutch player was it Wim Jansen?
Yes.
Yeah, there
Wim
you are.
Jansen.
That's James knowledge. None of that in the BBC, BT, Sky, Al Jazeera, all the companies you're working for.
And who was the door-to-door condom salesman that put the goal past Roughie? Remember his name?
For Brazil?
No, for Holland.
Oh, for Holland.
Door-to-door
Johnny
condom
Rep.
salesman. Aye, there you go.
Brilliant. Anyway, that's the five goals. James, you mentioned going to Everton. Did you live in Liverpool? Did you like Liverpool?
The paper tissue condom salesman. He's played with Scotland, Johnny Russell.
Remember, Roughie, it's slightly unusual, but he just goes off at a tangent, okay?
The change for the condom machine, Johnny Cash.
I never even got my 5 goals.
Did you have 5 goals?
I've got 5 goals.
Fire the 5 goals. We're going to talk about Everton.
Only no great goals, but memorable goals.
Right.
First one was Kenny Dalglish through Ray Clemens' legs.
Oh yeah, was that 76?
That was a good one.
Goalie Union,
the year after that, Big Gordon McQueen's header at Wembley,
77.
before we ripped the place to bits.
Yep.
After that, Kenny's header took us to Argentina.
at
Good
Anfield.
build up in that one, and then obviously James and wee Archie would be my
Yeah,
five.
do you want me to tell you something? I can't actually believe I never included Kenny's at Anfield. So that's a great shout, Roughie.
I must say as well, at the risk of making the big man blush, right? We've talked James up plenty of the day, but last Saturday there on the radio, the same day he's been inducted into the Motherwell Hall of Fame, we get Ali Maxwell on off the ball.
Yeah.
So we thought I'd dead easy in today because he has magnificent saving save. Aye, that's the best way to describe a save. The legendary 91 Cup final for Morris Malpass of all people.
Yeah.
The whole Dundee United team knew that Ali was absolutely jigger. The spleen had already been ruptured and all the rest of it. He was going to spend the night in hospital. So they were all just having a go. Morris Malpass, I mean, hardly prolific. And the great save for Ali, Motherwell fans will always remember, right at the death. So we talked about what was the greatest save. And I must say,
Yep.
a man to our far left with John Toshak at Anfield was... Honestly, it was about number 27 in the list.
But it was a good save. Do you think that's your defining moment as a
I
Scot?
think that in the national team, yeah, it had to be, because it was one of the games. First goal was going to go. First goal was going to go to Argentina, and we knew whoever got it, that would be it. So it was a save early on in the game. So, but we got the goals later off. But it's one of these games where you don't know if that had went in, would it have turned it in their favour.
I always thought you were a good shot stopper, Roughie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, everybody plays. You play to your strength.
What was your weakness?
Weakness was probably crosses. Because you come out for crosses, you get hurt. And it's just something you got to remember. They're big guys in front of you coming in. And elbows in the face. I've seen goalies with bad coupons.
Still enough about John Burridge. Now, you go to Everton. Liverpool's a fantastic city. Yeah. Did you enjoy it? Did you enjoy the people? Did you enjoy the club?
I loved it. I stayed in Liverpool for the first year, and it was great because the Scousers are very similar to Glaswegian, so they're more forward, which I didn't mind.
Yeah,
if that's possible to be more forward, but it just felt quite the same. It felt as if I was in a different place, but the people were so nice and friendly and down to earth, and the club itself was brilliant. The people involved in it, they were all everybody that worked there. It was, they were all fans. It was like when I was at Motherwell as a young kid coming through. Everybody that worked in the club were all Motherwell fans. It all mattered to them. What happened, and obviously the administration and all that stuff was horrible because people that really loved the club lost their jobs. And going to Everton, it was a similar feel on a much bigger scale. All the groundsmen, the kitmen, the ladies in the office, the canteen, they were all Everton fans.
Yeah.
So it mattered. My first day, I had a red T-shirt on. I was just signing. I think I'd been for medical. I was done just to sign, and the caretaker came in. He says, "You'll need to change that T-shirt." And I was like, "What do you mean change the T-shirt?" He says, "It's red. You don't wear red in here." And I was like, "Good one." He went, "No, red's not allowed in here." So I never wore red. I probably don't own anything red now.
That was years ago. I mean, the days of people ordering you a T-shirt to wear, they're all over, aren't they?
James, he's
you better explain that.
Oh, he's giving me pelters, James. We've got our Legend series out on.
Good plug.
Oh, it's a great timing for it. We've got our Legend series out. We decided to. Jim Scullion, the artist, is a renowned sport artist, and we asked him if we could do a little co-promotion on 10 legends. So we picked 10 that we thought were right up there: T-shirts, canvas and prints, and you've got yours. It's an early Christmas present. Andres Iniesta. It's a cracker. I mean, right up there. Great midfielder.
When I was looking round, obviously all my T-shirts have sold out, so I picked Iniesta. But,
that's a fair shout. Aye.
No, Iniesta, brilliant player, great. I think very obviously overshadowed by Messi, but in that team could do anything: dribble, pass, score goals, create. Delighted with the T-shirt.
You want to look up his record and the amount of medals he's won.
Incredible.
He's won everything. I mean, absolutely. World Cup, European Championship, scored the winner in the World Cup final, was man of the match, Champions League finals.
Just thing on the Sky Day, the Legends thing.
Yeah.
His thing on it's brilliant.
Oh, it's phenomenal.
Amazing.
It's absolutely brilliant.
The psychology and stuff like that from as a kid.
Yeah. Was there any players in the Everton side that I look at you and I think, you can do something special. Was there any players in the Everton side that you thought, oh, great, fantastic?
Obviously when I went in, Wayne Rooney was there, and he was just something else. He was miles ahead of anybody, what he could do with a football. And
do you know what Moisey said to me about him? Moisey and myself are good pals, and we'd got Moisey and myself and his brother Kenny. We all followed Scotland all over the place, and I said to him, "Can I come down to Everton to who was it? Just to interview him?" And Stubbsy was there at the time, and he says, "Come down and I'll take you to training." And I said, "Okay." So as we're going to training, he said to us, "By the way," he said, "I've got a player." He said, "He's absolutely unbelievable. He's a boy at 15. He said, "He's phenomenal." He said, "And he's actually training with the first team now, and I'm actually going to have to play him, at 16 in the first team." And I said, "Oh, give me peace." And he says, "Wait, you see this guy." And I'm not kidding you. I mean, he actually demanded the ball in training. I'm talking about top pros, and he was pinging the ball 30, 40 yards.
They were his heroes. He was an Everton fan.
Yeah.
These guys were his heroes.
And what was the automatic thing I said to Moisey? "Is there any chance I could interview him?" And Moisey said to me, "Peter, no chance." And I said, "How not?" I says, "Let me sit down, just a wee 5-minute chat with him." He says, "I can't." I says, "How is there something wrong with you?" And he says, "Thick as shit."
You know something? He gets that tag, but he's really not.
No, he's not. He's only 15. I mean, he's not exactly going to give us a chapter.
You tried having as well. You dressed up as your granny and you're down to training and everything, didn't you? "Hello, son." "Hello." Raising your skirts.
You're a bad man. You're a bad man.
And did he not score in his first team
against
game?
Arsenal.
Aye.
Arsenal youngest.
What a player he was. And for all the
was he a good lad?
Brilliant. He was a good lad because he was an Everton fan, and everything was just so natural to him. It was ridiculous. You'd come out. You've obviously been down at the old training ground. It was like an old house, and up this side was a pitch and down the back was a pitch. So you'd go out, walk out, and it'd be maybe 10 yards, then you're on the pitch, and the balls would always be kind of round about the halfway line or just up, and he'd just get a ball and say crossbar, no matter where it was, crossbar, and ping it right off the crossbar for anywhere. He was an incredible talent.
He gave me strip, James. Number 18 on it. Magic.
Davy Cooper did something similar like that years ago against Celtic. It was about 10-3 in the game.
That's a great story.
And and Celtic fans behind the goals, and usually he's doing the wee warm-up. Was in against Ali Maxwell, and just hitting some balls in against him and all the rest of it. Crosses coming in as well. And at one point, Ali Maxwell had run out to the old enclosure at the main stand, either to sign an autograph or to get a stray ball or something. And Davy Cooper, his back to goal, he turned around again to take another wee dink into Ali, and it hit the bar. But of course, there was no Ali in the goal. So as far as the Celtic fans were concerned, Davy Cooper had missed an open goal and had a bar. Hey, you know what I mean? They're going mental. And Davy just put the ball down, looked about the penalty spot again, dink, hit the bar again, grabbed the ball, waved to them and ran off. I mean, just, quality.
Gallus.
Quality.
Which is a great word that I always associate with you as well, James.
Are there any guys when you talk about when you went down there, in terms of pals, guys that you latched onto when you went down to Everton, as a young man, are there any boys that you still keep in touch with?
I was speaking to Leon Osman not that long ago, because when you went, they had an academy, Everton, but it was separate. I'd never been. I never actually ever went to the academy. So all their youth players were based at the academy. They had maybe 4 or 5 guys that were the young pros that were just above maybe 18, 19. So they'd train sometimes on their own with Andy Holden, who worked with Stubbsy at Hibs, and sometimes with the first team. So you had guys like Leon Osman, Nick Chadwick, Peter Clark, a few of the other younger ones, Tony Hibbert, who was probably more of a first team player. So I got really close with Leon Osman, and I spoke to him recently, just because you're changing together and you're kind of growing up together. So I've been back down. The club they're great. They invited me down about a year and a half ago just for a wee bit of hospitality, go through the lounges and see, get question answer, whatever. So I was done then, and I was done, I think it was the start of this season.
Yeah. Did you feel as if you played well, or did you feel as if you had a good time there? Was that a successful period?
Aye, I think I could have played more, but there was spells within it that I done well. I wouldn't say I was ever a regular, which was hard because the manager was really hard on me every single day, every game I played. I always felt as though, and it was right that I had to give more, and whatever I done was never good enough for him. And and whether he tried to relay that the wrong way to me or I took it the wrong way, either way he was right. And if I'd just understood it a bit better, I could have done better. But maybe towards the end, when I left, I had 4.5 years there, and every year, you know, after my first year, when I first went in, he says, you're one for the future, and I says, I'm not hanging about, I want to get in the first team. So I was in about the first team, played a few games, then it came to that pre-season, I says, right, this is it now. Because the year I left Motherwell to go to Everton, I'd been out for 8 weeks, I never had any pre-season.
Yeah.
So I hadn't actually trained. I came back, I think the first game of the season against Dundee, and I wasn't even meant to be involved, but we had a few injuries, so I came back and I played, and then the next game was against Partick. So I'd only played not even a 90 minutes, and I went there into Premier League with all these great players. So the next year I was like, right, I'm going to get a good pre-season, make sure I do well, and I did. We went away to America, I played well, and the first game of the season was against Arsenal, and Ashley Cole was at Arsenal at the time, and the managers, because I'm saying he was hard on me, he says, right, you're going to play wide right, I want you up against Ashley Cole, he's going to run up and down all day, but when you get the ball, try and make it difficult for him. So I was like, great, I feel I'm trusted early to go in.
Yeah.
And this was like the Monday, the Tuesday or the Thursday, Tommy Gravison tackled me and really hurt my toe. It sounds really stupid, it hurt my toe, and it was agony right on the joint of my toe. But I was like, I know I'm starting, I need to get fit, I need to train.
Did you
and
take
I
an
played the
injection?
game. No, I never broke anything, it was just sore.
Yeah.
So I was like, I need to play, it's the first game of the season, the manager's going to give me this big role and this is my chance. And I was hopeless because I was in agony. I couldn't train properly, couldn't play properly, and they took me off, and I was like, all that good work off pre-season where I'd done really well, and it kind of just fell flat, and that seemed to happen quite a lot. But I would say
what
it
was your
was
state of play then? See the night when you did score the goal in Paris, at club level, what had been the story with you at that time?
I'm trying to think.
Because I'm trying to think, for a manager at the time, being one of the guys that, you know, the old adage about, oh no, we only play guys who are playing every week and with our club.
I didn't play.
That
I didn't
story
play
boots
regular.
could have been completely changed.
I didn't play regular.
But
You know,
you
the first
were-
game against France, I'd been out for 4 weeks with a hamstring injury, and
But you were viewed as I'm loath to use the word talisman, but you were a player who could do something different. That's why they were picking you. I remember it
I played
clearly.
better for Scotland
Yeah.
than I did anywhere else, and you know, some people could criticise that, but I'd rather, you know, play better for somebody.
Yeah.
You know, and it'd be as well been for your country in the bigger games. But
Fergie paid you a compliment the other day there, and he said he thought it was maybe a lot of hype around you until he played with you at Birmingham,
aye.
and then he thought, oh, this guy's unbelievable in training. Never mind on a match day, you know.
Well, I always trained. I trained well every day because it was just the way I was brought up. I speak it when I was talking about the Motherwell, you know, thing and being brought up there. I was grateful for the chance, but I had great guys. Billy Davis as a manager, the standards he set were incredible. You had to be at your best every day. It was always, you know, the message was, I don't care if you're not having a great day, never be criticised for not working hard enough. And it's something, as I got older, people used to say I was a luxury player, but as Fergie probably attests, players that I played with, you know how hard I worked in training every day, and it was always, if you train the way you play, it's all these wee things that stick with you. Mickey Weir was my youth coach at Motherwell, and he was brilliant as well, because it's about standards. You can talk about, and this is a thing that I think's prevalent today in the modern game. You can have all these coaching, you know, the exercises, your tactics, all the drills. If you don't apply yourself right, if you've not got any standards, it's not going to work. So that was the way we were all brought up. Work hard, train as you play. You can't just, you know, mess about in training and turn it on. Some people could, don't get me wrong, there was players that they weren't great in training, but they turn it on the game. But I always felt you have to be at your best. I don't know, but I'm not naming names, but that was just the way I was. And I think it was because I always felt it was with a point to prove, because, you know, people doubt you, people talk about
absolutely.
you, and they want to see if you're good. When I moved to Birmingham, probably left Everton just a bit too early. But I got to the stage where I was like, right, 4.5 years, every year I keep saying it's going to be my turn, and I probably did leave because...
What age were you?
24.
Oh.
So I went to Birmingham. Art McLeish paid a lot of money for me. He brought me in, he's like, you're the guy, you're going to help us stay up. And I thought, right, I need to go and show everybody again I'm a good player, show them why he's paid this money, and show everybody I'm good and I can be the guy. And I got injured. I injured my knee, and I got to the stage where I think that was around about March or April. And
you missed the cup final?
That was the second time. The first time when I went in, it was in January. Injured my knee, couldn't train, it kept swelling up, so I'd try and train, couldn't train on a Friday for a wee bit, play the game on Saturday, go and get the fluid drained out my knee on a Monday, don't train till Friday, and that kept going for the last 5-6 weeks of the season. And I just felt that pressure of, they've paid this money for me, we're all under pressure, they're going, the threat of relegation, I need to be available. And it's the worst thing I could have done, because I was absolutely hopeless, because I couldn't move, I couldn't run, it was too sore, I had so much fluid in my knee.
And nobody ever actually would remember that sort of thing. They just look at how you're playing in the game. We always like to get, is there a particular story of madness, a best story about your teammates, about one particular incident that sticks in your mind that's, either crazily funny or just the antics of someone?
I've done this on a different show, but everybody speaks about Tommy Gravison. Tommy Gravison was nuts. He couldn't. He was in a flat on his own. He was hyper, constant. Always thinking. He used to bring in fireworks, paintball guns, and shoot people, and he was absolutely crazy. Every day he was crazy. He shot the physio once. I'm not sure if it was a firework or a paintball gun, but the physio used to run around the training ground.
I missed that physio, Roughie, do you?
And he shot him, or he hit a firework at him. And we used to actually, Stubbsy was one, we had one rule in the training ground, and this is, I don't know if you'll find this funny or no, it's actually quite disgusting. If you were going for a shit, you couldn't shut the door in the toilet, because if you shut the door you get a bucket of water poured over your head, so you had to just sit with the door open because you didn't want to get soaked. So one of the new boys came in and Big Dunks ran in, because he didn't normally get involved in the banter, but he was like, ran in, got this big bucket of scalding hot water, poured it over the top, and the big foreign boy's like, what is going on here? And we're having to explain to him that you're not allowed to do shit with the door locked. Quite a strange one.
I didn't think that was going to be. I didn't think that was going to be the story. I can't wait for the head. How do we promote that one, Roughie? Okay, I've got now that we know you've got that little bit of emotion in you, we want to know about your 3 favourite songs, your 3 top songs.
3 favourite songs. You text me about 20 minutes before I got here. I'm actually struggling.
Is there a band that you would go and see and you think,
what was your wedding song?
Well, there's a good
Let's
one.
Stay Together. Al Green.
Well, that's a good one. That's got to be up there. That's one down.
Because you kind of have these sentiments on your wedding day, don't you? So that's fine, right? So when you hear it a few years down the line, get that off.
No, it's still
there. It's still there. That's good.
I was going to get it again.
Yeah.
My wee boy was at my wedding as well.
Yeah, that's something we didn't really want to know either, Roughie.
Presbyterian quarter of Motherwell. My favourite player now is Stephen Pearson.
So 1 down, 2 other songs.
No,
come on, you must have been at a concert where you thought that's magnificent.
Oh, it's like Elton John. Can't pick a song though, they're all good.
Yeah.
If I was to, I've gone down the emotional route again when they done Candle in the Wind for Princess Diana. I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
I didn't enjoy the
event.
It was a good song.
It was a good song.
Retell the great joke. What was the song he did for Mother Teresa?
I don't know.
Sandals in the bin. Remember? Mother Teresa would have loved that joke. That was a peach. Whoever had come up with that joke at that time, an absolute classic.
We are going to be the shortest.
Had you
podcast.
never heard that, Roughie? That was a peach.
We are going to be the shortest podcast of all time. One more song, Faddy. Come on.
What about we'll work our way back? If we could give you a golden ticket to sit front row seat, dead or alive, someday singing
I'll go
on stage.
For Kind of Magic.
Oh, Queen.
Do
Yeah,
you know why? Again, another morbid, reason. I always remember the Davy Cooper tribute on BBC, and that was a song they put on, and that was it for me. It was so emotional.
But to be fair, actually, I remember the whole montage of it. It was superb.
It was absolutely brilliant.
Yep, that's a good one. Okay, listen, we're running out of time, so I'm going to just take your 3 songs. I was going to get your top movies, so you might as well give us them, James, before we finish, because this is getting madder and madder as Tam just thinks.
How many is it?
5. Is 5 too much? 5
for Rocky.
What for?
Every Rocky.
Rocky.
Oh, 5 Rockies.
5 Rockies.
No, Rocky's one of them.
Yep.
I'll go for Shawshank.
Which is good.
Usual Suspects.
Yep.
I'll throw a wee curveball in there. One of my favourite. And the next 2 I'll probably go for Van Wilder, which is stupid American, and Old School.
Right.
Another daft American one.
Have you ever tried watching The Shawshank Redemption on ITV4?
No.
You need about 3 nights. See all the adverts.
I know the break.
I mean, it's a long film already. Don't watch it in a commercial channel. Honestly, you gaff it.
Tam, give your 5 movies.
Oh, the 5 movies. I would need to start with the original version of the 39 Steps, starring Robert Donat and Madeline Kahn, directed by Alfred Hitchcock.
Right.
Which is really, really spooky, great tension all the way through, an absolute classic. I would also have to mention one that I can watch over and over and over again. 2, in fact, Planes, Trains and Automobiles.
Oh, yep.
Never fails to entertain. Steve Martin and John Candy. Those aren't pillows. and then the wee woman at the car rental place who looked a wee bit like Peter. Thanksgiving, she was wanting to go, and that's all she was talking to her pal about. Gobble, gobble. Mind that? Right? She was great. And he's swearing like in that. And they did 2 versions of that for a different rating for the cinemas. They did that, because he does a lot of swearing in that scene. The other one's an absolute classic, and I keep urging folk to see it if they've never ever seen it. Slightly lesser known Robert De Niro one, Midnight Run.
Oh yeah, that's a good movie.
He's dealing with the bail bonds guy and all the rest of it.
Funny.
It's fantastic, man. I've given you 3.
2 to go.
Deadly Weapons, starring Chesty Morgan. That one, Peter, that's an absolute classic.
Yeah. I saw that in Betamax.
I did as well. And what's the final one? I'm trying to think of one I could. Well, I must admit, even indeed last night it was on the TCM Movies channel.
Yeah.
And the minute I thought, oh no, I'm going to get drawn in again. I watched 15 seconds of it, just at the bit when Joe Pesci was shooting the wee young barman in the foot. Goodfellas.
Yeah.
And I think that's the mark of a great film. And I agree with Faddy about it. I bet it's the same with you with the Shawshank. If you have to start watching it, you can't take your eyes off it.
Yeah.
So pick the bones out of them.
Roughie,
quick 5, obviously Christmas coming up. Am I getting the right one? White Christmas, is that the one with...
Yes, Bing Crosby.
Danny Kaye.
No, it's not that one. No, it's the one where the boy loses all his money and then he gives it back.
It's a Wonderful Life.
It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah.
It's coming. You'll see that thing.
The idea that we are one of your all-time favourite films is that you know the name of it.
I thought it was White Christmas. My next one would be Little Miss Sunshine.
Oh,
I don't know if you
that's
saw
good.
that.
Yep.
That was really... My third one would be Young Frankenstein.
Oh, brilliant.
It's the black and white with everybody in that. Gladiator I could watch all day.
Right.
And my favourite all time is One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Which is absolutely magnificent. And I had a wee story about that, actually, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, because Kirk Douglas actually played it on stage, and Michael Douglas bought the rights to it, and he thought he was an absolute stonewall certainty to go in and play the lead role, and he gave it to an up-and-coming young actor, Jack Nicholson, and changed his career completely. I've picked 5 movies. I haven't gone for Debbie Does Dallas. I've gone for Annie Hall, which has the best line of all time in a movie from Woody Allen. Don't knock masturbation, it's with someone I love. And over and above that, I've gone for The Great Escape, James. Mm-hmm. Which is just... Have you ever seen it?
No.
Oh, you haven't seen The Great Escape? Oh, there's the
watch
line.
that again and again and again.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's one of the rare films that mentions Hamilton races. Where the wee guy that was in it, Angus Lenny, went on to play Shuey McPhee, the chef in Crossroads. And when this particular The Great Escape came up one time in the radio with us, I just happened to say, of course, that was Angus McPhee. Did that mention Hamilton races when he's talking to Steve McQueen, and I still get goosebumps when you see that scene. You think of the late great Angus Lenny, and 10 minutes later, our next caller on the show was Angus Lenny. I'm no detail. Who wasn't late at all, and he was off a crabbit. You know
about the fact
I wonder why,
Absolutely. And because you're emotional, James, I picked The Way We Were. Have you ever seen that? Oh, it's fantastic. You've got to see that. And then Robert Redford, The Natural. If you get a chance to see that, you'll like that. It's about baseball.
Is there any in colour?
Yes. And then the last one I picked actually is a weepy, The Notebook.
That isn't half.
Have you seen that?
That isn't half.
I kid you not. Andy Walker said to me, "You've got to see this movie. Everybody's talking about it." So I said, "Oh, give me peace, you know." And he says, honestly, I am sitting on the couch right now, greeting. The tears are running down my eyes. He says, "You've got to see it."
A weeping I've still no seen. So nobody waste the end there.
Yeah.
Titanic. I'll say, no. That's honestly, don't dare, right?
Listen. On that note, we've had him doing his gobble. We've had him. We've had James throwing water over somebody while he's doing his shit. I think the whole programme is memorable.
Hugh Dallas.
Yes, I mentioned that as well. Listen, thanks to James. It's been an absolute joy going through some of his memories and some of his likes and dislikes, and to Roughie and to Tam as well. Don't forget, you can get our podcast right across all platforms, and you can watch it on our YouTube channel as well. You'll see the banter. Hear the banter and see James's shirt as well if you want to get one of our legend shirts. But as ever, every Friday morning you can click in and join us on the podcast. To Roughie, to James McFadden, to Tam Cowan, and from myself, Peter Martin, thank you indeed for joining us.